A couple of months ago, you were furious at Mayor Emanuel. You said he should put on his big boy pants, and it was time to take responsibility, stop blaming the past. And yet, your brother allowed the pension crisis to fester. What?
My brother did not solve the pension crisis. The pension crisis has not been solved by Mayor Emanuel. It was not solved by Mayor Washington. It was not solved by
your brother
Jane
didn't
Byrne.
even try.
Well, that's not true. That's not true.
He had a commission. He had a report.
Okay,
so what?
So what do you? So what? I'm talking about the next 4 years. You can talk about the last 30 years or 40 years.
How
you
did
can
we
go
get
ahead. We got here because all the politicians at the state level and the local level didn't face up. At times, and they'll say they had good reason. You know, some people maybe wanted him to jack up the taxes in the middle of the economic crisis, or they wanted Rahm Emanuel to go even further, or decimate city services, or Harold Washington to do something, or Jim Thompson, governors. The reality is, friend, we are where we are.
But your brother not only allowed a report to sit on a shelf, he allowed property taxes to remain unrealistically low. He
because
raised
there
them
was,
twice.
I assume it was because there was an economic crisis going on and people were losing their homes all over the city.
It was not for 22 years that didn't happen.
Not for 22 years. I know that, Fran. But you can argue about the last 30 years. That's great. You know, you can write the history book about it, and that's terrific. I'll buy it and I'll read it. But I'm trying to figure out how to help this city for the next 4 years.
Well, what mistakes did Rich Daley make that you won't
That's
repeat?
your job. That's your job.
What mistakes did he make that you?
We've got to address the pension crisis and the long-term economic viability of this city going forward. Everyone does. And so that's why we're talking about it. That's why we have to come up with plans. We have to address these problems. We cannot keep doing what's been done for 30, 40, 50 years. It's not going to work.
But why didn't your brother put on his big boy pants and handle this?
Why don't you ask him?
But no, I'm serious. I mean,
yeah, so am I.
If you are drawing the line between yourself and your brother on ethics and all these other things, tell us what Richard M. Daley did wrong.
Look, he did a lot of things wrong. Okay, he didn't solve the pension problem. Okay, I gave you the headline.
Parking meters?
Parking meters.
He
didn't
sold them.
solve the parking meters.
He sold them.
He sold them. Yes,
and
he did.
That was a mistake, wasn't it?
The way they did it was absolutely a mistake. I think the way they did it, I understood that when he was faced with allegedly laying off 5,000 city employees according to police and fire, he looked for revenue. They should have done it differently. That I agree with you 100%.
What should they have done?
They should have, I don't, you know what, Fran, you want to go back? Okay,
well,
I'm trying to go forward. I would not do that deal. Okay. And I would not do that deal the way it was done going forward in the next 4 years.
You wouldn't do the deal at all, no less the way it was done.
I just told you, I would not do that deal. Will I look at every option? Do I think every option possible should be on the table to solve some of our problems? Yes. Okay? Would I have done that deal? I would have done that deal the way it was done? Absolutely not.
Would you have kept the parking meters and raised the rates? They were unrealistically low as well.
Look at, Fran, I'm not going to go back. I'm not that detailed on the parking meter deal of 15 years ago, whenever it was, okay? But the reality is, we have an economic problem right now, okay? And we need to address it. And all the candidates will have to try to address it. And I will do that, okay? But trying to spend the next 6 months worrying about the last 30 or 40 years, that's your problem.